What's up, guys? Team Dream Shooters back here with another deck profile, and this time it's on Susanoo, the Oracle Think Tank deck, coming out of V-BT08 Silverdust Blaze. And yeah, so this is actually out of all the decks, I actually wasn't a big fan of the cross coming out, but Blade Master and Susanoo are the decks I think are more fun to come out of this deck. I mean, the set. But yeah, the cross is a good deck, don't get me wrong, but it's just not my playstyle. I much appreciated the end with 12 crit, but you know, the cross is more consistent and it's just a overall better build. But you know, play-wise, I just don't have as much fun. But this deck I do have a lot of fun with, just because it's like, you know, draw power. It has everything: draw power, big numbers, critical, and very defensive. Just what more could you ask for? And let's just get straight into it. I run 4 Supreme Heavenly Battle Deity Susanoo. And Susanoo's here's ability, and he's just a really good card overall for the deck, obviously, because of his first ability to allow you to manipulate one and then reveal one. And this deck is all about revealing cards, so there's a bunch of cards in the deck here that activate when revealed from the deck, which is where a lot of the buffs come from. And the second ability is really good because by checking the top 2 and activating their trigger effects, that basically enables you for a quad drive in this turn. And then if you have a grade 3 in the soul, obviously, that's a 3 checks. So on top of 3 checks, you get a twin drive. So that's a quadruple drive in 1 turn. And it's basically like the Megas deck, which is what I really liked about the Megas deck, was having big number multiple drive checks. And the only downside was that you lose cards from the hand. But with this deck, you don't really lose all the cards in the hand. You just kind of burn through everything. Sorry, we hear the hammering. There's some construction going on across the street from my apartment. But yeah. And next we run a 4 of this Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu. The fake card, if any of you guys understand that reference. This card doesn't actually exist. But yeah, Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu is back. So now we have Beast Deity, Illuminal Dragon, Platina Ezel, and Goddess of the Sun. Now we just need Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion, the Blood, and we'll have the original Limit Break ultimate forms all together again, but in standard. So yeah, anyways, Goddess of the Sun's first ability is when revealed by a card effect, if you bind the top card of your deck, your Vanguard gains a 10k in a critical. So basically, when you reveal it by a card effect, it's a critical trigger by binding the top card of your deck, which is like nothing. And that's basically it's like one of my favorite cards of the deck because of this effect alone. And her second ability is when she attacks, you discard a card from your hand, look at the top 3, you add 1, and you put the rest back. So let's say you got 2 triggers here, you reveal it, and then you can basically manipulate the next 2 drive checks as well. So it has a little best of both worlds, really. You get hand and manipulated drive check. So free. And I ran 10 grade 3s in deck, sorry. I ran 2 Evil Eye Princess Uraili. Here's Uraili's ability. And Uraili's here because you will be using the Soul Blast a lot, and there are other cards in the deck that do Soul Blast. So to get Soul back is through Uraili's ability. And yeah, that's really all about it. If you ever have to ride Uraili, then hopefully you can proc her skill to draw 2 cards if your opponent will let you, because that's the only advantage you can gain through the deck if you end up riding Uraili. But yeah, since you do go through the deck a lot and you're constantly searching and drawing, having multiple of grade 3s isn't a problem for me in this deck. And on top of that, I have to numb down a bunch of other numbers, so the numbers across each grades are pretty even. And next I run 4 of this new card. This is a Sapient Angel. Here's the ability, and yeah, so she's there to manipulate your top 3. So you can manipulate your top 3 for Susanoo, you can manipulate your top 3 for Amaterasu, but it wouldn't matter because you can still put it back in any order. But you just manipulate them for Susanoo or Uraili for the Soul Charge, or other cards in the deck we'll go through, like Kuroi Ikazuchi, which we'll go through next. And yeah, just a filter manipulating card. All it's really good for. Yeah. So then we have Diviner or Diviner, Kuro Ikazuchi. Here's his ability. So yeah, he's basically your ride target for grade 2. If anything, my second favorite card out of the deck next to Amaterasu. I just love his artwork, so cool. Even in the G series, he was pretty cool. Just wasn't a fan of OTT Susanoo before until later on around G Next came around, but yeah. Really cool card. So basically, on your grade 2 turn, you can Soul Blast 1. This is where a bunch of the Soul Blasting comes from. And then you discard a card, and then you reveal the top card of your deck, activate the trigger. It's really good so that basically you're getting power regardless. And you plus off it if you pull a critical trigger, or a draw trigger, or a heal trigger, obviously. And since he's on a counterblast, yeah, just kind of less heavy on the cost. And next I run Goddess of Running Water Ichikushima. So this is the hardest fall of all the retrain cards, or G to standard. Yeah, so here's her ability. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks how you just you go from a stride to a grade 2, but not as powerful as what she was, but still good nonetheless. Basically, regardless, you're either giving something 10k by revealing Ichikushima, or you're getting 10k by calling her. 19k beat stick or 10k reveal. Can't really complain there. Not that bad of a card. I mean, if you don't like this card, you could run I don't know, hexagonal, is that the card? Rectangle Magus from the trial deck. I think that's a pretty good card to run. Or you could run the 12k vanilla from set 5. And yeah, that's it for the grade 2s. For the grade 1s, I run a 1 of Oracle Guardian Gemini. I might bump him up to 2 just because I do appreciate the countercharge a lot. And basically, you soul charge countercharge, which turns Susanoo's effect into free, or basically you net cost 0 out of it. And that's all Gemini's in the deck for, is countercharge, because I use a lot of counterblast, and I try to lower the cards of counterblast, or I lower some cards that did use counterblast, like Tetramegas. Tetramegas allows you to draw a card and put a crit back if your Vanguard's grade 3, so this basically just manipulates your next drive check. I would run more, but I decided to keep I did have 5, but I tried to keep 3 in my Megas deck and just take 2 out, because Tetramegas is a good card for this deck, obviously, but I feel like I'm able to manipulate my drive checks enough that I can live without it. And there's another card in the deck that I like to save my counterblast for. Next, I run the Stride Enabler, which is Divine Sword Ame no Murakumo, or it used to be the Stride Enabler, but is now the grade 3 Searcher. Yeah, so generic effect, 5Ks from if you're revealing cards, which you are almost always going to be able to do every turn. And this is my saving grace of the card, saving grace of the deck, Diviner Muto. So yeah, this is why I want to save my counterblast, is because when placed counterblast 1, I put a normal unit from the bottom of the deck and it gains 15k. So I put back stuff like Amaterasu or Ichikushima, and on top of that, since I put a card back to the deck, I also prevent myself from decking out, which is what I do this for. And then the only way to shuffle the deck is through Ame no Murakumo. So that's just really how they work in Tangent. Because you search, put things back, shuffle, search again, yada yada yada, you know. I think Murakumo says, yeah, if cards from the deck were revealed, so not that bad. If it was added to hand, I think that'd be a little bit iffy. And then we run the new starter, Solar Maiden Uzume. You know, obviously this is just the Amaterasu Searcher from the original booster set 7 or 9. I'm pretty sure it was 9 because that was the set Amaterasu came out in. And yeah, quick shield text and all that stuff. And now onto the triggers. I run 4 Nike, or just, I'm gonna say, around 11 crit. I am very close to running, very close to running 12 crit, but I do like running the 1 draw trigger PG. But if you are more comfortable, you can run the 12 crit if you like, because you have protect markers and that's your PG as well. And then extra critical triggers, extra pressure. And then yeah, 4 of the new heal. Doesn't really matter. The whole point is that you're running 9 crit or 12, or sorry, 11 crit or 12 crit and 4 heal. Heals don't matter, crits don't matter. The only crits that do matter are the new Sentinel ones, because they're 30k and not 15k, so that will save some cards in your hand. And that's just like the overall power of the deck. Yeah, so you are constantly going to get a trigger effect revealed for sure, whether it be a real trigger or Amaterasu or Ichikashima. And like I said, protect markers are easy to obtain in this deck since you're searching and you can constantly write Susanoo every turn. So I don't really see the need in a draw trigger PG. But yeah, that's it for the Susanoo deck. Pretty straightforward. Search your deck, hit for big numbers, hit big, hit hard, and when you pass your turn, you defend with ease and then repeat the process. But I do notice that you are able to deck out, especially against other protective decks. I was playtesting against Dark Irregulars and I had some problem with it. But other than that, there should be no real struggle. I think it's a pretty good deck. You know, A tier, if not B tier. Or sorry, B tier, if not A. And yeah, thank you for watching and catch y'all later.